thinking, you guys have had 4 games that you went into that were built up a lot. Pittsburgh because it was the opener, then Dallas, and Jacksonville because you were coming off the bye, and then Philly. And you seem like you played your best in the games that really mattered. What would be your observation on why that is?
A challenge always brings out the best in good teams. We try to bring the same intensity every week, though, because we know every win matters. I can't tell you exactly why. But it's definitely a big matchup, and we'll be ready.
Do you feel this is a team that rises to the occasion, or has so far?
Sure.
I know you've only seen him all once, and that was all the way back in 2019. What would you remember about facing him, and are there things that you took from that experience that can help you see him?
I don't remember much, but our game plan, I think, is a lot different this time around. I think he's evolved a lot, so he plays the game differently. So it's a different game for sure.
Do you see much difference with the new coordinator there in terms of what they're asking to do from the pocket?
Yeah, that's kind of the differences. I think he's trying to sit in there a little more and go through his reads, and not quite as run heavy, but they're the number 1 rushing team in the league, so that's obviously something we're going to have to deal with.
What's the key to defending him and defending Kyler?
Just taking him out of his comfort zone, taking the space out of his run game stuff, and he's their top rusher. So, just making him uncomfortable in the pass game, not rushing scared, not trying to mirror like we did sometimes against some of the other mobile guys, but getting on him and wrapping him up so he can't break tackles.
You mentioned rushing a couple times last month. Is there on-field dialogue that you and the other defensive linemen have to make sure that your rushing is one, or is it all done in practice?
I'd hope that we're tied in before the game, so we're not trying to make adjustments during. When it comes to that, it's just doing your job. There was a couple last week that we were on the ground and Kyler was getting out. Just being tied in, but not verbally, just knowing where your gap is.
Nick, you mentioned trying to bring the same intensity every week. I imagine it's hard for 17 weeks. How much do you think last week, or you didn't have your whole crew, but I'm sure that wasn't the greatest defensive performance just overall. How much of that is just not maybe having the same juice as you
Obviously, everybody's grinding this time of year. You feel different each week. There's definitely a few plays last week that we'd like to have back, and it would have looked a lot better on the stat sheet. But we watched the tape, and we don't feel it was as bad as the stat sheet says. So we're just on to the next and learning from that as best we can.
You had such a specific game plan for Jalen Hurts. Do you have a similar, not the same game plan, but a specific one for Lamar Jackson as well?
I'd say more so in the run game we do. You have to be on your assignment, zone read and all the pullers and all the stuff. It's simplified, but it's very specific for him. The pass game, not quite as much.
Nick, you probably know that there's a scenario in which you can clinch the number 1 seed on Monday night, but that's if people lose on Sunday. So how much will you be watching the Lions, the Cowboys, the Eagles on Sunday?
I'll be tuning in maybe if I can, but our focus is winning games.
Just wondering, not having your 2 starters their last game, how much does it hurt game planning this game, not knowing how healthy they're going to be if they're ready to go, the 2 guys in the middle?
I feel like our guys that we have are preparing like starters every week, like everybody in this building. You saw Sam Darnold get a little play last week, and he prepares every week like he's the starter, so it's just the mentality of the team.
Can you just walk me through Monday? I mean, Monday's Christmas. When do you shut off everything and start focusing on football and start focusing on the game?
On Monday?
Yeah.
Right when I wake up.
Are you familiar with Taylor Stallworth at all?
I just met him. Yeah, didn't know him.
Deebo, do you feel like you're on the, I guess production-wise you are, but do you feel like you're on the hottest streak of your career?
Kind of think so, but there's still a lot of stuff that I need to work on to get better week in and week out.
Why do you think it is?
I have no idea. it's just crazy because every time I get the ball, I try to score, and it's just tending to happen a lot right now.
What makes attacking that Ravens defense so tough?
Say it again?
What makes it trying to attack that defense of the Ravens so tough?
The way they fly around, no hesitation whenever they see the ball in the air, or no matter who got the ball, those guys just flying around right now. That's all we got.
Have you ever played a game on Christmas before?
Nah.
How much does that change your day-to-day?
Don't change nothing. It's just a Monday night game. Another game on the schedule that we know we got to go out here and play our best ball on.
You got to buy in the fact. The fans just think of this is a money game coming up.
What you asking?
I'm asking if you agree.
If it's a money?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if that's what you want to call it.
Does it feel like it's playoff type football right now?
Right now, yeah, because every game matters. For us to continue to be the number 1 seed, we know we got to continue to stack these games, stack these days, and just do what we do.
Already, I'm sure. What do you think of what they're offering back there?
I watched a little bit of them. Gotta watch some more.
Anything stand out about their DBs and their coverage?
Sound coverage. I think their whole defense is pitching in on the coverage, but watch a little bit more.
Every week it's a big game. But Christmas night, I guess the number 1 seed in the conference, this battle between these two number 1s. I mean, even as a player, I mean, fans are geeked up for it, but as a player, you got to be amped.
For sure. It's gonna be it's a good gift for everybody in the football world on Christmas. So we're excited as well too.
Much has been said about your run blocking. How much pride do you take in the fact that you were down there in front of everybody getting the block, especially for Christian McCaffrey on that big run? I know you played
Yeah. I think we've been doing that for years now. I think people the league starting to notice, want their receivers to play like that. You guys and fans as well too. So it's pretty much what we've been doing.
That Christian pointed a finger at you at the end of that run.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Do you watch film around the league? Do you see other receivers? I saw some receivers this week in Pittsburgh who got out of the way of a run block situation because he didn't want to get rolled up on. It seems like you're not thinking that way. You're thinking about mowing the guy down in front of you. Have you seen any other receivers around the league who don't block with a vengeance down the field?
I think pretty much 95%. So I don't know why they're trying to pick on him. I see that every week.
What's the biggest challenge heading into this game against Baltimore on Monday?
One more time.
Biggest challenge going into Monday's game for you guys?
We got a lot of challenges, but we got a week of practice starting today to prepare ourselves and get ready to play our style of football, and then I think that'll take care of it.
If somebody said, what is the 49ers style of football? What do you say?
I don't know if I have one word to describe it. I think what's different from us is the different styles that we can get into depending on what we need for each game.
Have you seen Deebo on a hotter stretch than he's on right now in terms of producing and getting in the end zone?
He hot right now, but I've seen him on a hotter streak. So
usually in the playoffs?
In the playoffs, and at times before, but we gotta keep the hot streak going this week for sure.
Nick was just saying, you think the tape looked as bad as maybe the stats looked last week on the run defense. What did you see from the run defense last week? What do you guys agree with that? What does it?
Yeah, I think what he's saying is there was a couple plays in there where they gassed us for big runs, which obviously is going to pull the yards over a significant amount. And at the end of the day, we just got to be better tacklers. We got to fit in the run game exactly where we're supposed to fit. Because one guy's off in that type of scheme, then that's how they can hurt you.
I realized 2019 is a long time ago, and Lamar's a different player. You're a different player. Different teams also. Was there anything you remember about that game though that could be beneficial in facing him again that you might have picked up in the course of that?
I mean, that was a long while ago. I remember it was cold and rainy. I remember that.
That's accurate.
But man, I think it's been so long. I think what's more relevant now is just watching the tape from this year and going off of that. But Lamar's always been a heck of a playmaker. I mean, things that he can do with his legs and throwing the football is incredible, and for sure going to be our toughest opponent this season.
When you put the tape on, obviously a new offensive coordinator there, a little bit different system. Do you see him maybe evolving a little more in terms of just wanting to stay home in the pocket, and how does that maybe change the way you go about defending?
Yeah, I think that's where he's progressed the most, honestly, is just when he is running, yeah, he can hurt you with his legs, but he can also hurt you by running to then look down the field and throw an explosive pass on you, that sort of thing. And him being more aware of wanting to stay in the pocket and deliver the football to his receivers, his playmakers, so you can't just sit there and say, hey, just hold him in the pocket, don't let him get loose. You hold him in the pocket and you don't apply pressure, then he's going to hit you deep. So that's where it's like we got to be on top of every little detail going into this week.
I've heard it's like chasing a squirrel.
What's that?
I've heard it's like chasing a squirrel.
Chasing a squirrel? Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, it's similar.
I was saying that their two linebackers, Roquan and Queen, are two that would kind of comparable to what you and Dre do, and the style that you do it. Your side, kind of the modern sideline linebackers. I know you're playing against their offense, but do you cast a glance at other linebackers in the league, and what do you think about their two?
I mean, yeah, we're always, looking at how other backers are playing in the league. I got a ton of respect for Roquan and Patrick. The way that they play the game is exactly how it's supposed to be played. And so our offense has got to be aware of where they're at all times.
I think Kyler just had one zone read against Joe. They went for 15. Is that like you show that on tape? It's like, this is how you do not defend Lamar Jackson?
I guess so. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one bad example, and then wherever else that we did it good, then that's the good examples. But we can't slip up one play or else it's going to hurt us.
Fred, I'm sure you know there's a scenario in which you guys can clinch the #1 seed on Monday night, but it requires the Cowboys, Lions, and Eagles losing on Sunday.
I didn't know that. Wow, that's interesting.
Okay, well, knowing
requires
that,
a lot. Yeah.
You going to pay attention to those games on Sunday?
I mean, I'm going to be paying attention to our game, and I think if we don't win our game, then all that doesn't even matter, So it's still the same mindset. Obviously, this is the biggest one because it's the next one, and it's one of the biggest opponents that we played. So I think these are the games that you dream of, though. Playing on Christmas night. Monday Night Football, all eyes on you. This is as good as it gets.
Fred, when you wake up Monday, when do you turn it off from husband to football player? I got to start thinking about the game. When does that happen?
Probably early Christmas Eve, honestly. You gotta be good husband, good son, and whatnot, and all these sort of things. But I mean, this is a job at the end of the day, and we got a job we got to do on Monday night, and we got to take care of business. It's hard to juggle, but you got to get it done.
You were with Jerry Rice the other day. I was just wondering if he gave you any kind of insights. I mean, talk about the spotlight. I mean, he's lived in it in all these big games.
Yeah, I mean, that was such a cool interview with him, just kind of picking his brain and seeing the way that he saw the game and things that he experienced. And, I think it's what's important is the preparation before you get to that moment. That's the things that you lean back on. It's not about rising to the occasion. It's falling back on your level of preparation. So the way that we've worked all year and the way we're going to work this week is what we're going to fall back on Monday.
What do you think about the opener and then Dallas, Jacksonville, Philly? It seems like you guys have come out and played some of your best football in games that were, I know they're all big, but those were, kind of built up games and big deals, and you guys were actually close to your peak. What do you think it is about you guys that kind of make you rise to the occasion?
I think that goes back to kind of what I was talking about with him. It's not, I really don't even feel like it's rising to the occasion at all. I feel like this has kind of been a build-up all season long of those little things, those little details that we've worked on all season long, and what's required, like we're doing what's required of us. Like late in the season, Kyle talked about it a lot. The season doesn't start until November, December football. And, we got to make sure that we're playing our best football right now because this is the moments where the games matter the most. And we got to just make sure we're on top of all the little details and executing our assignment.
Fred, I assume it's hard to bring it like you guys strive to do for 17 games. Do you think last week had anything to do with any sort of lack of juice?
Not at all. Yeah. Not at all. If you saw us in the locker room, you saw us pregame, all those sort of things. We were locked in, ready to go, juiced up. It just, wasn't our day. And sometimes that happens in this league, and you got to make sure we come back, we get back to work, fix the things that we lacked on in that game, and move on.